I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo,
Yeah.
no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money. Must be Monday through Friday. It must be around 6 p.m. because that's where this show gets its go. And I'm ready to go tonight, you guys. We got a full slate of action as we are in the season of sport. What a great time to be a sports viewer, a sports gambler, sports capper, sport. We got it all going on here tonight. We got NHL action. We've got college baseball, basketball action weeks. That's the one sport I don't get into is college baseball. It's not the only sport, but it's not there. It's not on the schedule. Then anyhow, we got college basketball. We've got the NBA. We've got college football. And that's going to do it for us here. What a show we got in front of us here. I just added a hockey play as well. So we'll cover, excuse me, my voice has been raspy here after this last couple of days. Boston and the Islanders will kick off our NHL card. We'll talk about the Edmonton Oilers and Dallas and a skid of Dallas Stars. Talk about the Winnipeg Jets and the LA Kings. It's one of them intersecting opportunities where art and science intersect, and we make a play on that game. We've got college basketball with Nichols. Who knew there was two L's in that one? Against Kentucky. Lindenwood taking on Texas Tech. That's number 9. That's your number 9 Kentucky, by the way. That's your number 10 Texas Tech. So we're going to fight some of those big battles. And then we'll wrap her up with a Portland State and Stanford showdown. Surprisingly, these scrub teams have met each other a bunch. We'll talk about that. There's a rematch at hand. Oh, man, my throat. Miami, Ohio is a rematch of Ohio for the MAC championship last year. Can Miami, Ohio exact revenge from a thumping? And I'll tell you about my thoughts there. I'll tell you about what I think about that Akron game, but the lines moved so much now. I don't have a play. I got down on some 9.5s, but we're like 12s and 13s. Man, how much are they going to beat them boys up by? Both schools are checked out. And then I got 2 spots for you in the NBA, Charlotte and New Orleans, OKC and the Clippers. I got a king of the court guy. Man. I got a king of the quarter. I wanted to play LaMelo Ball. Yeah, I know. Crazy. Charlotte Hornets. He does not want to play though. And so, look, we've had some Giannis success. I think we're 2 for 2, aren't we? In the king of the court? I think we are 2 for 2 in the king of the court plays. We had the Greek Freak. He smashed. He actually had to split it with Maxey. We did not play a Maxey. I forgot who the other guy was. Oh, it was Luka. It was Luka that we took. Problem with these guys going out there and kicking the shit out of everybody is our bonus bets are like $25. So I went a little off the rails today. Because I hope if he cashes that we pick up like $200. You know, the other night, I forgot who it was, the Luka Doncic night. There was another guy. I forgot who it was. But when he was up there, man, it was like $450 of a bonus bet. But Luka came back and we cashed with him anyways. So that's it. Some fun in the association to kick us off here, to close us up. I'll talk to you guys about a couple other games that I really like. We'll spit a couple at you. But it's a big card for me. And, you know, I don't like to get much past 10, 11 plays. I like to cast a wider net, as you guys very well know. But, I mean, look, college basketball is just getting going. How many plays? Got 7, 8 spots going out there? How many more? There's not a lot left over. I tried to pick some matchups that I thought, again, the benefit of having a full slate of card. You would think that benefit would have carried over last night. We took a little bit of a lumping. Took a thumping. Bear with me because my notes are scatterbooed. Scatterboo. Dropped about 3.5 units last night, so that did not feel good. The thing that did work for us was the NFL. On a run, killing the NFL. I literally missed 3 games on the entire NFL board yesterday, and one of them was a win that just didn't cover the spread because of the new overtime rules. And the other one was a loss that had the quarterback go out early in CJ Stroud. So I was pretty in tune. And I expect that this time of year, we get to this halfway point of the season, we start having data. We start being able to analyze trends and see these teams for who they are. However, the challenge was on us. Now, if you live streamed with us, we got that win with the Arizona. I mean, it was the most impressive part about Arizona. And you guys know that if you were here, you watched the show yesterday. What did I tell you they were going to win by? 10 points. Crazy, right? That's why we look at these trends, we analyze the numbers, and then we come up with a strategy. And so I live bet at halftime plus 375 for the Cardinals to win between 7 and 12 points in the game because it encompassed the 10. The 9.5 was like, because I looked at it late, they were already up a touchdown. The 9.5 was like plus 180. I said it on the show. I can't remember what it was. Just wasn't as good. And so that's a way to utilize that information. When I tell you margin, if you're taking notes at home and you hear margin and I give you a beefy margin, write that shit down. Make sure you put a note there that's an M. Mikey Money's margins, an M. And then put the margin in there because then you can use that information to have a little fun and try to make a little extra scratch. And plus 375 it was. I needed it because Dak Prescott did not get my over 2.5 to blow my same game parlay. So in any event, a little note about that game. I thought we were pretty dialed in, not dialed into hockey whatsoever last night. All my dogs all lost. So it's not going to work. 4-game card. Pittsburgh loses. They were up fucking 3-0 Pittsburgh. And Toronto scores 4 goals in the third period to bust my bubble at plus 158. The Oilers lose that game 3-2 to St. Louis. Tight battle, but no bueno. We added the under 5.5 in the Nashville game. Fucking even parlayed Nashville in the under. Vancouver wins the game 5-4. Didn't matter. And Chicago gets busted up. Chicago, by the way, was a puck line machine to start the season. 3-1, they lose to the Seattle Kraken. And positive news, we cashed FAU in college hoops. We cashed the under 147.5 in the Virginia game. Now 19-1 to the under at home with a total over 130. You're just going to have to remember, we double dipped. We went back at overtime and played FAU live. So that was a nice little way to kind of sway the pendulum back. But look, for show purposes, we got to be accountable. There has to be integrity in what we're doing here. And didn't give it out on this show other than the pre-show. So we got it once, but I played it twice, and hopefully you did too. I know a couple of you did. You shouted it out in the chat last night. Appy State. I don't even know what happened. They got busted up. 82-66. It was ugly. And the Clippers shit the bed to cap us off. Why not? I mean, they lost outright. You know, the funny part is I stopped from giving you guys the Portland Trailblazers. I said it moved too many points. The Lakers won anyways. What a fucking shit show. How do you make heads or tails of this kind of stuff, huh? Somebody tell me. Because when the players go out, well, you know what? It reminds me of our friend Jay Peasy. When he said they make it more attractive to bet the Dodgers. You bet the Dodgers. I think I'm paraphrasing. Jay Peasy, I see you in the chat. Maybe I'm off base. But I think it was something to that effect. And I feel the same way with the Lakers. The Lakers are in a dog spot. You just got to take them, right? Is that just the case as we look at this thing moving forward? Now, as we move forward, the Bills have shit the bed. They have waved the white flag of surrender, at least by the last account. Let me look. Just make sure I'm not throwing dirt on them yet. They're in the ground. But I don't know if I need to bury them or... Well, they buried themselves, I guess, is what it comes down to. Yeah. No. Okay. What am I talking about? You might be asking yourself. Well, I gave them a list of 5 wide receivers to go after. I think 3 of them ended up getting traded today. So I did the work for them. I tweeted it out. I said, here's the list. Now pick up the fucking phone. And they didn't. And within 5 minutes of me sending the list, the first guy comes off the list. An hour later, the next guy comes off the list, and I can't remember what happened with the other guy. So I did the work. They refused to do their part of the bargain. And so now they are stuck It's Baltimore. Baltimore makes the Super Bowl. It's official. It's official. It's Baltimore versus the Eagles. Because it's going to be Baltimore versus the Bills in the AFC Championship. We already talked about this. When I capped that game when they played the first time, I said Buffalo will win. Baltimore will get the rematch. Baltimore will win because that's the team by the color structure of the Super Bowl. If you believe in that conspiracy, believe it or not, it's like 8-1 in the last 9. So, I mean, you can argue it and say it's stupid, but it's 8-1 in the last 9. I mean, shit. If you were picking anything at 8-1, if I had a dog and my dog could pick 9 plays, go 8-1 and 9, I wouldn't give a shit if the dog can't read the fucking sports headlines. Give me the dog's pick. So argue all you want, but you're just a dick. And that being said, I know I say that facetiously, but it's going to end up being the Ravens because they refuse to make moves at the deadline. Now, the Eagles, I'm confident in the Eagles because they're the best team in the NFL, not just by my subjective lens here, but look at their offense, look at their defense, look at how they rank, look at their production, look at the players' performances, go across the board. Look. And the Jets are sellers. The Dolphins are sellers. So the AFC East has shrunk down to the Patriots and the Bills. Look, it wouldn't even surprise me if I still think the Bills and the Ravens are in the AFC Championship game. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, the Colts got better. Sauce Gardner. Sauce. How in the fuck does a name like Sauce come up? Sauce Gardner goes to the Indianapolis Colts. Their odds got better, more favorable to win the Super Bowl, which means my odds to get Jonathan Taylor MVP at 50-1 are looking attractive. So it's a little buzz around the NFL from today. Yeah, there's some other teams that made some moves, but what are you going to do? Jacoby Myers goes to the Jaguars. Okay. Surprised Green Bay didn't make any moves at the tight end position. They thought they were good to go, but I still think they're pretty thin. And now you lose one of them, man, that's a tough spot. So there were plenty of guys out there. We'll see. See if something shrink. What was it? 4 p.m. was the cutoff? I don't even know when the cutoff was. I know I tweeted it out 5 hours ago. I tweeted it out right after 12:30 or so to the Buffalo Bills, and they had plenty of time to make moves. So it's not my fault. I helped them. They just didn't want my help. I don't know. What are you going to do? What can you do? UFC's woodworking. Guys are coming out talking about how they were approached to fix fights. It's a ballsy thing to say, but they did, and that's where they're at. Yu Darvish, huge garbage. UCL surgery announced today will miss the entire 2026 season. That's disappointing because I like to fade that fucking guy. He had one good year. I mean, he probably had a couple, but a couple years ago he had one good year. So last year I didn't think he was. He was fadeable last year. He had a couple spots, but you'd expect that. Obviously, he gave his Tommy John for the cause, I guess. That cause that went nowhere because everybody thought the Padres would do something. They did nothing. So, I'm ready. I'm good to go. I hope you guys are as well. Sadly, no programming for you guys tonight. It feels like we've been on a whirlwind tear. We'll have a live show tomorrow night with Sean Fox. And then we'll have the Thursday night football extravaganza. The squad will be ready to roll. We will roll into the weekend with UFC at 4 p.m. Fixed as it may be, nobody does it better than us. I was on an absolute heater last week, so I'm looking to fire it back up, get back into the lab, into the studio, scrub the card, and you can already find a fight breakdown from one of the best cappers in the world, literally tracked on a notable national site. They all use it. If you want to have skin in the MMA game, you're involved in tracking, and you'll see the good. You'll see the bad. You'll see the really ugly. And you'll see our guy VB MMA Picks is number 4. Number 4. And he's giving you guys the breakdown for the co-main, the main, and an extra fight in there as well. So you get 3 fights already. You can go get that. Check them off the list. Jeff and I tried not to double up. We like to give you guys 2 or 3 fights of our own. So now we've got 6 fights on a 13, 14 fight card. Means we covered about half the card for you guys. We did half the homework for you before the show even starts. And then we give you even more winners. So that'll be on Saturday. And of course, college basketball, college football, the NHL, the NBA will all be in play. And it's going to be a lot of fun as we roll into the best damn show in sports is that Sunday NFL NHL show, the new one, NFL, the betting blitz. Man, oh man, we've been firing. We had a huge, what it says 13-4. It was really 12-2 the first week, because those two, I gave one side, he gave the other side. We canceled each other out. And then we fired again today. I told you. Got almost every single fucking side dialed in. What else? And it's 50 minutes. We fire. We don't fuck around. We ain't patting asses. We're just here to give you guys the picks, the action, give you a view, our game plans, our trends, our cash flow splits, and then get you the hell on to making your plays and enjoying your NFL Sunday. So do tune in again on Sunday. We'll be doing it 11 a.m. Going to be a lot of fun. But it's time to run. You guys know the deal. We're going to get this thing moving. First and foremost, we need your support. We need a thumbs up. Going to ask you for it. Today, I'm going to really kind of lean into you guys. I need it for luck. Hit the thumbs up for luck here. We got to bounce back from yesterday's performance, and we need you guys to help us by saying, hey, you're here doing this thing on the regular basis. Help us get everybody noticing Sports Money's continuing to grow. 21 shows and growing a week here at the Sports Money Network. Started with just Jeff and I capping MMA on a Saturday with 2 people watching. I think it was him and me. But look at how far we've gone. Look at what you guys have found us here. You guys have helped build this community, and it's time that everybody else recognizes us. So smash that thumbs up button. Let's get this motherfucker on notice. How about that? Yep. Let's get after it, you guys. Let's talk about some of these best bets. Let's see what you guys are involved with for your action this evening. Get them in the chat. I want to shout you guys out. I want to recognize what you guys are doing. I want to track it along. Maybe I want to tail some of this action. Jover's going to kick us off. He's going to go Bruins Islanders over 6, and the Predators Wild first period over 1.5 for Jover. There's Gary. What up, Gary? He says Thunder minus 7.5. There's Jay Peasy. He's looking to jump on Vegas first period over 1.5 for sure. From Jay Peasy. Jerry Davis says, let's go. Chris Manriquez. He says the UFC's looking shady. Yeah, it's been shady. I told you guys, did anybody do the research? I gave you the little intro on the story, the Fuck It Friday videos. Surprisingly, after that, what was it? I can't think of his name now. Krause? I don't know. Krause. When Krause got busted for match fixing, I don't even think he was match fixing, right? He was really just giving out player updates that created a betting edge that you wouldn't, as a public consumer, had access to, right? But they stopped those fucking Friday videos right after that. And I'll tell you this, there was a clear and present code that correlated incredibly well. And people got mad when they were like, oh, no, it's not fixed. No, it's not fixed. Mm-hmm. And I show you a card of winners, and I'm like, yeah, I read the code. What are you fucking talking about? JPZ says, give me the Cardinals of Palo Alto. Oh, Stanford action for JPZ? JPZ, we were talking about you today. Got to bring that sports betting bros back to light, man. They try to step on our tails. Jay Main says, yo, what up, gang? David Wall says, what up? Cameron Sinet says, government shut down over 43 days. Great 10-day double-up opportunity. What does that mean? Is there a great opportunity I'm not aware of? You know, it's unfortunate for some. But to me, it just makes me think of the government waste. 43 days and counting. It's the longest now, right? It's the longest in history, or it's tied for the longest. I heard on the news today. I know some people are going to be really bothered by this, but my shit hasn't changed. So as long as my internet works and my power goes on, I'll figure the rest of it out. So makes me think we have a little bit of excess in the coffers in the big house. And I don't mean that big house. Jay Main says it's fucking head spinning. Star players go out and they have the game of their lives, or the other team just don't care. And Bo Jackson got out the Raptors tonight. He's on the money line with the Raptors. Back and forth with that game, man. I think the Raptors win, but I could see the Bucks winning. How about that for a breakdown, Bo Jackson? I see you're on the money line. So the +3, 3.5s sound like those could be in play too. Peter Gracia says, sup, Mikey, NFL Super Bowl. You're right on. It's money. Bo Jackson's throwing the dino in the chat there. Rob Freebands says, can we start the caps, Mikey? God damn, Rob Freebands. Thank you for starting. But guess what? At 6:15, Everyone's getting rolling. Daryl Jones says, what's up, Money Crew? Captain NFL, one local money line pool, week 9. Thanks, Arizona Cardinals. Joe T says, stop it, Mike. Eagles, get the F out of here. Kelly V says, Jover, hey. Was just thinking of you yesterday. Boom. Here you are. Hope your family are well. Cameron Sinette says, drop your cap in the chat, Rob. Cassius. Joe T says, need a bounce back. 0-3 last night. Tech B. So what's up, Big Mike? See what we can get into. You like Orlando -3, the 76ers Bulls over 239.5, and OKC -7. Warriors OKC 7 points. You know, I was thinking about that, Rob. Been a process for several years, and welcome to it. This is the best damn sports betting community in the business. And so it's important, it's paramount that we call out the plays that our friends and family are involved with here, because nobody cashes like the sports money community. So it's important, and I enjoy it. Futon Bets likes Jalen Johnson, 20-plus points. Sup, buddy? Gerald Jones is still alive in DK Survivor. Wow. Nasty Nate says, I killed it yesterday besides Celtics full game, but first quarter, second quarter, first half of McBride touchdown. Cameron Sinette says 43 days market, November 13th. I threw a few hints at plus 113. Oh, I didn't know that was the case. Let's get going for Rob. Let's talk some action. Takes everybody 20 minutes to get here. Can't start early. Okay. Terry Davis says people get hungry. Yeah, no, I said it's. Look, the SNAP stuff, that's a big deal, right? There's people that need that stuff. They need those benefits. They're stressed. I get it. You know, but like, if you're a government employee, and I'm not talking about like Congress, but like, people are going to work with you. You know, they're not going to kick you out of your house because the fucking government hasn't written you a check in a month. You know, it takes time. There's a process. I don't know. I don't want to be ignorant to the needs of others. But for Rob, we're going to get moving here. We're going to talk about some NHL really fast. We'll get into this thing. We'll get everybody rolling. We'll get you guys popping off and ready to get the hell out of here. Get all your bets placed and have yourselves a night. The first game is Jeremy Swayman and Ilya Sorokin. Makes sense. We're looking at an over. Both goalies having a suspect season, 3.14 goals against on the Swayman side, 3.4 goals against on the Sorokin side. It's opposite day here for the Islanders because, yeah, Rittich has been the guy, surprisingly, even though Sorokin's got the contract. So Swayman had a good start. I kind of leaned to Boston in this game, to be honest with you. This price tag to me was like, first glance, I thought, Boston's not horrible. Both these goaltenders are suspect, though. So upon further review, I thought the right move was you got to take a shot with this total. The thing is, when I talked about this last year with the Red Wings, the scoring chances allowed. Both teams, the Islanders ranked second in the league. Boston ranked sixth in the league. Think about that. Scoring chances allowed. Off the chart. 17-9 to the over on the season for these two teams already. Both goalies leaky. Expected goaling opportunity. This is why I think this is such a big favorite for the Islanders, is that expected goals per game for the Islanders rank number 1 in offense across the NFL. So go for it. Good on them. I'm just going to take the over 6. We're going to keep it moving on to the next game out there for this Boston side. It looks like Jover and I agree with this Islanders Boston over. I think the last time Jover and I were on the same side, we ended up getting that cash. We roll into Dallas for a fireworks show between the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars. Playoff potential between these two teams as the Oilers come into town a mere 6-5-3, while the Dallas Stars started out hot, found some regression in their game, in their business. They were scoring goals like crazy. So the unders of Dallas are done. There's only a couple of weeks. Now, Stuart Skinner will start. He is their guy for the Edmonton Oilers. He's got a 2.51 goals against average, so he's okay. Saved 27 of 29 shots. It was against the Blackhawks, so there's a step up in class here. Dallas, on the other stand, they're going to go to D. Smith. Ottinger just had a baby, so they're giving him some time off. Paternity leave. I don't know if we still call it paternity leave. I know we did for a hot minute, but we've moved on. And 1-1-1 is a pretty average record for this scrub in DeSmith. However, they've gone to 3-0-3 in their last 6 games. So they're fighting. You got a fighting chance for a team against another spot that's on a back-to-back at this point in the season, trying to get some momentum against these boys. And I think it is a nice looking Dallas Star spot. You know, upon further review and kind of drilling into this thing, yeah, Dallas. They are 0-7 if they're favored by over $1.20 and on a 2-game losing streak or more. But yes, I talked about the Oilers the other day. They got that best power play in the league. They could have potentially been in that look-ahead spot for this game. That's very likely. And maybe kind of why they're looking to try to bounce themselves back. Yeah. Number 1 power play in the league. You lost 3-2 to a mere measly St. Louis Blues team. So if you play anybody that's over 500, you're losing. And if you play the shit teams, you're winning. You can only play who's in front of you, but I'll take this shot for this Dallas Stars team to bounce back. 3-0-3. Positive vibes with Casey DeSmith coming in the locker room. I think anyhow. Winnipeg Jets and the LA Kings are the last spot on the... Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I did add a spot. Shame on me. Shame on me. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, yeah. Montreal Canadiens. High as I'll go here, but I'll take them in... I'll take them at the minus 145 price tag for the Montreal Canadiens here. This was my late ad. I was waiting for that number to come down. That's why you don't see anything on the screen. But as far as the screen is concerned, Flyers are in the 0-13 spot on the road versus teams that just had a W, and that is the Montreal Canadiens. So they just got thumped. If you recall, they got thumped by that Toronto Maple Leaf squad. It was I think it was 5-2 final. They were never in the thing. Right off the gate, it was like 3-0 before they even found hope. And they've got an issue with goaltending. This is the time of year where we have to start monitoring some of these situations because Ersson's been hurt, and now they're stuck with their number 2. This is the classic situation. You got the number 2. He's lined up against the number 1. We know what's going to happen. It's going to get thumped. It's going to be a show me on this dial where they, you know how the rest of that goes. 28-year-old Vladar, 4 goals on 19 shots his last start. So he's got a 2.11 goals against average, but he's getting worse. So, yikes. The Canadians, Sammy Montembeault and Dobes. I should probably figure it out. Montembeault has a 3.66 goals against average. It's the only thing the Flyers have done well is, they stink. They're 6. They're in the bottom of the league. They're 0-13. There's not much more I can give you guys other than just take this Canadians team and enjoy this cash in our pockets. Robert Dixon's in the house. Scott Blaster says, Mike, the Sabres live. Feels like it, huh? I don't know. A nice little over streak, though, right? Was it 5 straight games of scoring? 9-0-1 to the over as a dog following a game that they got less than 32 shots as a favorite. Kelly V says, heard Montreal 8-1 in the first period. I know where you heard it. And I don't know where you heard it, but I'm assuming where you heard it. And I don't follow those guys. They're no good at this thing. But anyways, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I think we've messaged back and forth. The Winnipeg Jets and the LA Kings are the last spot, although I do like that. It kind of correlates, right? The Flyers are going to start out slow. Problem is, what's the motive for the first period? I know 8-1, but what is it, to keep the juice down? Anytime someone's trying to keep the juice down, I'm trying to go the opposite way. I don't know that to be sure, though. I didn't do any homework or anything like that. I do like that angle. The LA Kings, maybe the first period, maybe they win the first period to win the game. Maybe that's a good way to get the juice down, actually, now that you mention it. The LA Kings will be the play for me against this Winnipeg Jet squad. And the thing for me is the intersecting opportunity that I told you about. We got to look at some of these things and realize you got a team that's really bad at home, and you got a team that's really good on the road to start. And we'll get into some of the weeds here in a second. So what the heck? And I told you guys last year, I was not buying that streak. that crazy streak that we saw them boys on. The LA Kings at home, the best home record. Their GM, I told you guys in the offseason, felt so complacent about what was happening, he made 0 moves. So both teams were solid last year. Both teams have come into this thing struggling this year. Expectation is it's Hellebuck for the Jets, their number 1 guy, and it's Kemper for the Kings. As I evaluated these two spots, it's pretty average. It's pretty even. It's 2.34 goals against average for Kemper. I'm sorry, for Hellebuck, 2.34, and it's 2.85 for Kemper. So that's the kickoff. And it kind of looks like that in the price line here as you're looking at these two teams. But when I talk about situations and being opposites or intersecting in opportunity, you've got a team in the LA Kings. They've won 6 of the last 9 head-to-head meetings between these two teams. They had the best record at home last year in the NHL, and they're 0-3-2 this year. They're winless at home. That O's got to go. And I don't mean it's due. I mean, if you look on the other side of things with the Jets, their defense stinks right now. They're not playing to form. Yeah, Hellebuck goes out there and stands on his head. There's a shot that these Winnipeg Jets can fire, but bottom line, we love our between the numbers here. When the Kings are between the 145s, there's a reason I said 145 is kind of the cap of where I'll go. Then the variance across what the line means, how they're measuring the line has other implications behind it. So when they're between the 145s and a total less than a 6, the Kings are 10-0 at home. Tonight's the night that O has to go. It's going to be a king spot for me as we keep the card kicking. Oh, okay. Okay, that wasn't who I thought we were talking about. You know who I thought we were talking about. Okay, I got jokes today. Let's get into some college hoops. What did we see yesterday? We saw the big teams, the power schools, beat the shit out of those other opponents. Not a match in class at all. Now, this line's been moving towards Kentucky. Starts at 7 p.m. It started at 30.5, expecting a beatdown. You got 81% of the bets and 61% of the cash, meaning the sharps are coming through and buying in on this Kentucky team enough that that's moved the line 2 points. 151.5 moved to 155.5, and now 156s, 156.5. There's even a 157 out there. So if you're looking to go under, you best shop around. The line tells me that Kentucky's very capable of scoring 100 points. And I don't disagree when I look at this across. Again, not using last night's performance as a future indicator of what should happen tonight. I mean, obviously each day operates in its own little silo, but at the same time, the good teams beat the shit out of the bad teams. Fact. Now we look at some Kentucky numbers, and it's like, all right, I get it. They're 0-7 when they're a favorite of 19.5 points or more, and the total's less than a 154.5. It's not pretty. But you got to respect the fact that Nicholls State's standing on the tracks and the train is coming through. The reason I went first half and full game, I expected they could be up 20 by halftime. We've seen that. We saw that with Bama. We saw that with whoever else yesterday. I mean, the big schools with the big spreads were up big at halftime. The problem I have is what happens in that third and fourth quarter. I think, though, unfortunately, you look at a team like Nicholls, they're just not skilled enough. They're not going to match up at all. They were 20-13 last year. Big season mark for them to get 20 wins. Second time it's ever happened in history of the program. But look, all new players, inexperienced group play, things that we look for to struggle, and confident that they can come out and Kentucky can knock this first half down and then find a way to go out there and smack that full game. Even if they do backups are still going to have, I mean, what? Nicholls is all of a sudden going to flip the switch and they're going to ball out. We're going to double dip this game and move on to the next. Rob, once the show gets moving, it gets moving, brother. We are flying. Look at this. Halfway through the plays already with an added spot on the board tonight. Hopefully you're still here, Rob. Lindenwood and number 10, Texas Tech will fire off here in a battle of ranked number 10 looking to thump this Lindenwood team. I went with I thought this was a creative way to play it. Hear me out. Totals moved a lot. 144.5 to 148.5, even 149.5 right now. And you have 72% of the bets and 70% of the cash on the over. Okay. It's moving. It's grooving. And the totals moved from minus 31.5 to minus 34.5. So the books in that line move. And by the way, 85% of the bets and 74% of the cash are on Lindenwood. Sharps are buying Texas Tech. The line's moving in Texas Tech's direction. And the total's moving as well because they're saying Texas Tech's going out there and scoring 100. I know it's a big number. A little crazy. It's a big number because they want to scare you off of this Texas Tech side of things. For me, though, I didn't look at I'm not, I'm doing it with this Kentucky side. There's only so much risk tolerance I have for those big numbers. I'm just a man. But I can think that Lindenwood shits the bed. I think Lindenwood rolls out there and pukes their nuts up. And here's the thing. Top 14 programs in a non-neutral site game early in the season with these big spreads, 30.5 or higher. They're 62-0. Surprise. They're covering, but they're winning by 38 points. So, good sample, good swath when it comes down to it. The average line's 35.5, so you still got some meat on the bone. Problem is, when you go from, obviously, big team winning, that's not the earth-shattering news here, 37-24 on the spread. So you're shrinking the gap, and the margin is 2.4 points. So the gap's gotten even tighter. But looking at the total, 19-42 to the under. The average spread, 147.5, and they're covering by a 5-pack. So this line's moved itself out of compliance for this variable when it comes to almost. The margin's not quite there because the line's moved so much. But if it's going to be an under, I think this sneaky little Lindenwood school can shit the bed. So I took the under for the team total on Lindenwood. I thought as far as a big nationally ranked game, big opportunity, those kids are going to have bright lights in front of them against this number 10 Texas team looking to thump. And with Texas changes in the coaching staff and such, Texas Tech, listen, just give me the Lindenwood team total under. I think that's a clever way to leverage those trends and try to find ourselves a winner. Peter Grassi says a full moon. Is that a metric for the overs? No, that's a metric for the crazies. Is what that is. Irish King says Toronto first quarter -0.5. Chicago first half -0.5. Robert McCormick says good evening. Kelly V says these cupcakes. Yep. Everybody likes cupcakes. I haven't had a cupcake in forever. Used to make cupcakes and toss those little miniature candies inside them. You guys haven't done that? That's a fucking game changer. All right, the last game on the card for me in college hoops, is this Portland State game. It's a boring under. But it's under because it's moved itself up. This is a late night special for us too. -10.5 has not moved. And you have 68% of the bets and 72% of the cash on the Stanford side of things. I was surprised because at first pass, I thought, wow, Stanford's going to mop these boys up. Totals moved up 2 points from 143.5 to 145.5. 70% of the bets and 68% of the cash on this thing. And I was just trying to figure out, I want some late night action. Where can I try to get in? As my guy Sharpie says, get in where you fit in. And I looked at this game and I thought, okay, these guys have history. They've played together before. 3-1 find Stanford the last 4 times that they've played. Where the opportunity came out to me is Portland State in their conference. Yeah, they finished 19-13. That was third in the Big Sky. There's obviously a talent discrepancy. I shouldn't say obviously, but there should be expected to be a talent discrepancy between an ACC program that attracts high-level recruits like Stanford and middle scumbag division like Big Sky. No disrespect to Big Sky fans. So looking at it, breaking it down, 3-1. They shot lights out Portland State at home. They were 13-1 at home last year. The team was 14-15 overall to the under. So basically 50-50, little edge to the under. 5-10 on the road was Portland State last year. And, flip side of this thing, we have to see what these two teams, how they start out and how they get playing. But Stanford allowed 70 points last year a game. That was 139th. They're middle of the pack defensively. Problem is they didn't shoot great. 73.5 points averaging per game. They were ranked 250th in shooting from the field. So you got a bad Portland State team that's rolling on the road against a team that's, I can't even say middle of the road or mediocre. They're sub-average, below average at shooting. At 192nd defensively, I think there's still an opportunity for this to be maybe a lower scoring, grind them down kind of. What are they going to pull? They're going to splash everybody with threes? They ranked 172nd last year from the three. Now they're home. So I get it. I think that what happens is this is the classic backdoor opens up game. Here's why. Stanford, 15 of 16 first half games last year against non-conference opponents at home. Damn near perfect. But the problem is, you got a team on the other side, won 3 of its last 4 games. So they can go out there and compete. They lost 5 of their last 6 on the road, though. What's going to happen when they get out there? We'll have to see how it plays itself out. But I want the total. I want the under to close the night. I think you got a team that doesn't match up in size. And I think you got a team that doesn't shoot well at home. Doesn't shoot well, period. Now, maybe they fixed it, but light switches don't just turn on overnight. You know, these kids are young. They're in college. They have to develop. Onward, upward. Let's hit it with the Miami, Ohio game. This is the battle. This is the rematch in action tonight. I'll touch on the other game just quickly. UMass sucks. They're winning less than 35% in the FBS. They're just a bad team. But we're not looking at the money line. We're looking at the point spread, and it's moved from 9.5 to 12.5. 70% of the bets, 70% of the cash are on the Akron Zips. The Ruse, baby. But it's moved 3 points. It's moved past key numbers galore. I mean, at 9, it was almost past a key number. So I do recognize that. I do respect that. Here's the problem I have. Akron stinks as well. They stink in their own right. They're 3-6. They're not playing for anything in conference. They're really, I mean, they're probably not making a postseason game anyways, but they're one more loss away from just being officially eliminated. So how much do they care? And UMass is 0-8. UMass stinks. So how did I get to this spot? And what am I looking at with this game? I'm looking at no play it now at a 12.5 because one of the least packed arenas, one of the worst fan bases in the history of college football is Akron Zips. Nobody shows up. The stadium's like a third full max. It's a midweek game. Those kids got to go to fucking school tomorrow. And they're playing a team that's 0-8 in UMass that probably doesn't give a shit either. There's way too much uncertainty in that. It's not like you get the home fans behind you. Nobody shows up. They don't care. So you got a bunch of kids that are on the fringe of not caring, playing another team that doesn't care, and the fans don't care. Who cares? Not me. I'm off of that game at this point at 12.5. But Miami, Ohio, and Ohio, yeah, 3.5s have moved to 3s. They went down to 2.5s, believe it or not, but it's coming back. We're seeing a little bit of late buyback. 69% of the bets and 62% of the cash are on Miami, Ohio. They think this Miami team can find a way to bounce back after getting thumped in the MAC championship last year, 33-3. Total of 50.5. It's really not doing it. It's oscillating. You got 51.5. You got 49.5. So it just depends on where you want to be. 66% of the bets and 92% of the cash are on the over. Looking at this game, looking at the breakdown, looking at the matchups for these squads here, you know I look for these mismatch opportunities. Where's the best mismatch opportunity? In the trenches, on the line. Now, you look at Miami, Ohio. They're 4-0 in the conference, right? And obviously, Ohio's 3-1. So that's what that second number means there. You see the first number is their record. Second number is their conference record. We'll talk about the benefit of the home field. We might as well talk about it right now. Miami, Ohio, on the road against non-conference opponents plays very well. Not going to dismiss that. But unlike that last game where nobody cares, Ohio is 21-1 straight up and 16-6 against the spread at home. Here's a margin. The average total, they're winning by 10. And they're covering the spread by 4.2. So, does it bother me to lay at 2.5 in this case? No. And here's why. When I talk about the battle in the trenches, you've got a strong being a relative term for the MAC, right? Just, it's fucking weekday. We saw shit Sunbelt games, Conference USA games. This will probably be a little bit better. But ultimately, you got a team that's really, they're just a bunch of bruisers, right? 13-2 at home against the spread in conference play to further qualify what that looks like against the spread, against the conference at home. It's a tremendous home field and a strong team that bullies teams around. They rank 17th in rushing yards a game. Strong offensive line leads the way. 27th in yards per carry. 27th in yards per carry because once they get open, they find the seam. They're smart. They have high-level football IQ for being a MAC program. Can't believe I'm saying it. Bangura and a dual-threat quarterback in Navarro are the reason that they can keep moving those chains, keep things thumping. They're averaging 5.4 yards a carry. Miami, Ohio, their defense stinks. They rank 125th nationally. So they're going to get bullied around, and the chains are going to get moving, and it's going to be frustrating, and they're going to get worn down. You'll see hands on their hips in the second half. Not the first half. I think it's going to take the full game to eventually show itself through here, but there's a reason these boys won 33-3 last year in the championship. The ground attack can dismantle and hurt people, is what it comes down to. And if you're going to try to pass on a team, guess where the mismatch is? The strength that Ohio has is their pass defense. They rank 51st in pass defensive efficiency, 30th in passing yards allowed. So you're getting chunked, clock's rolling on you, and then your savior is to throw the ball, and you're throwing it against a strong team. It's the best look I can give you guys for this game here is saying that take the Ohio. I told you why to stay off the other side, and I'm encouraging you to take a look at this Ohio side with me tonight. Jay Davis says, yeah, I bet a lot of first half spreads on these 25-plus point spreads. Grab plus 37.5 today on London One team total. First half minus 16. Over or under? Marty Riggs. What's up, Marty? Says, let's win some cash. Marty's blessing our action here by upping his membership. Cheshire says, you guys ever seen the back of a $20 bill on weed? Kelly D says, no, Duke game neutral site, but in Charlotte. Yeah, that's a good point, KV. No, I don't know. If you can keep your eyes live on this Akron number. I just want to go back to that really quick and just say, if you can find it if it goes live and it pops down after like a bunch of shit drives, I think you'll know right away in the first quarter what this game looks like. And then if you can get back in under that 9.5, I would endorse you guys getting involved in that one. So Marty Riggs, appreciate you, my dude. Thank you for becoming a member. I've got 2 games left for you guys. They are in the association. I went to Voos for my King of the Court tonight. I told you it was off the scale. It was off the circuit. Nothing about it looks great. The only thing that does look great, Giannis is fucking around. He's about to find out tonight. Steph Curry's not been shooting for shit. OKC could potentially lose outright to the Clippers tonight. And so what are you going to do? In my estimation, it either became take some chalk like Embiid or Maxey or the Greek Freak. Or why do I like Voos? He's a walking double-double. And his role has changed this year with the players on the team. And we remember last year we were just banging away on his rebound props. Well, he still averages 11. That hasn't changed. But they want him to shoot the ball more. He's a 3-point candidate tonight for a ladder, I think, in a game that's got the highest threshold on the card. So don't you guys stymie me. I'm just telling you who I took. And I know it's off the board. I get it. I mean, I know it's meaning off the board, meaning it's not mainstream, but nothing about what we do here is mainstream. So for what it's worth, that's the way I wanted to attack that spot. At 8 p.m., I want to attack the Hornets and Pelicans. I told you I was eyeing this game all day today as one of the matchups that lined up on my dashboard pretty sizably. Yeah, you got a Pelicans team that sucks. Smoothie King Center hasn't been good for them. The Hornets 3-4, but they're no good. I mean, come on. Ultimately, if LaMelo Ball was in, He was my guy. I told you that. If he was going to be my guy for king of the court, 40 plus points, rebounds, and assists, probably was going to have a big game. Now you got a big piece of a weapon that's out of that game. And you've got 72% of the bets and 68% of the cash that moved in on the Pelicans. I'm sorry, on the Hornets. 72-68 Hornets. Totals come down because they know you're taking out a big guy on LaMelo Ball. 70% of the bets, 68% of the cash, smacking away on the over. It's come down 4 points. So you've got reverse line movement. It's an ugly situation. But I just got to, I wish I had more than just saying, I think this roster situation is enough to tell us what they're showing us their hand by telling us what this line looks like right now. I think Pelicans probably do smash the entire way in this game. I guess we're ultimately, Miles Bridges is the guy we got to watch out for. They just had a 3-game losing streak, though, the Hornets. So are they back, or were they just due to bounce back and catch one? And I think this is kind of like that game I talked to you guys about with the Kings. Bad spread teams are a good bet at 259 and 202 across the board. It's winning at a 56% rate. And that's just what it says. They're shit at covering the spread. They're 0-6. They're terrible. Facing a Charlotte squad that's banged up in its own injury right. So we'll take the Saints. We'll take the Pelicanos in this game. And then, I'm doing it. Mike says both the edges covered yesterday. Looking like Purdue isn't covering the first half. I had Lindenwood. Or I'm sorry, who are they playing? Whoever they're playing. I had them as their Evansville. How many points does Evansville have? Because I had them as another first half under candidate or full game under candidate. All right, well, let's finish this up. Let's get this done. I think they can win outright. I got a 9. It moved too much. It makes sense. All the reason in the world when you look at this game. Nothing says the OKC's been killing it. They're unbeaten on the season. They're running their Super Bowl victory lap out there, or their national championship victory lap. Problem is, you just had some late buyback. It might have been me. -3.5 moved all the way up to 9.5 on the Thunder side of things. You had 54% of the bets and 53% of the cash. I get it. The old school rules, right? The Clippers just played last night. It was a late game. I don't care. 223.5 moved down to 218.5. Clippers center can be an under center. 89% of the bets, 86% of the cash are out there. Problem for the Clippers is they're old. And this is where I went back to that king of the court because I was like, am I going to take James Harden? Is he really going to be my king of the court guy? Now watch him go out there and do it tonight. That would suck. OKC is not covering the spread easily. Remember, they started the season with 2 overtime games. So that record, kind of a little misleading. They earned it. I'm not going to take that away from them, but it certainly could be a little bit misleading. And so now you got the Clippers team playing 2 games within 26 hours. That's never a fun spot to be. I get it, especially with old dudes. It is earlier in the season, though. SGA's fucking fired up. He says, I get fired up every time I play the Clippers. He wants to show them what they did by not drafting him. And Chet Holmgren may or may not play. So you got a little bit of a banged up squad. Furthermore, OKC finds themselves 0-12 as a road favorite of more than 1.5 and a total that's 227.5 or less. This one's way under that number. This thing's down to 219.5 and 218.5 out there. 0-12 OKC in that road favorite position out there. Think about that. And it moved up double. And what have we seen so far in the season? Anytime these lines are doubling, let's just take the points and feel good about our spot and say, hey, it looked okay before. It looks even better now. That's the way we're going to put a bow on the show, you guys. That's the way we do it. We got it done under the hour. Mitch Morber says Evansville, 14 points. Yes. Let's go, Mitch. Not over yet, but by the way, that Evansville game with that team total under is the same profile as the Lindenwood game that I gave you guys. So just keep that in mind. Ricky Levine says, pimp slap. What's cracking? Been a minute. My plays tonight. Kings, NHL, UMass. All right, my guy, Ricky Levine in the house. What up, Ricky? Dale Fick says Leonard out if it matters. No. That's probably why the line moved, right? The truth says I'm stuck with +5 on the Clippers. Shake my head. Well, can you get a better number now? Dollar cost averaging, right? If you get a 5 and then you go back and buy it at a 9, it's really like you got a 7. It's like a blended number, right? Hammer says, iconic unicycle performer, Red Panda, returns to the NBA halftime floor tonight in Chicago. Oh, boy. Mike says today it's Evansville in Hawaii. Ohio smashes Nasty Nate, says Jerry Davis. That's going to do it, you guys. Thank you guys all for checking us out here tonight. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. Show some support, man. Put a lot of prep, put a lot of work into coming here to give you guys some of these lines and angles. You know, we don't just turn the camera on and say, oh, who's playing tonight? The research gets done. You guys doing whatever it is you want to do all day long, that's fine. You know, you can come here, trust in your boy to put the homework in, do the time, and then see if we can't get that cash together. So thank you guys all for being here. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it the same time, same place, 6 p.m. here. It'll be pregame, and you can catch my man Ramon Scott at 9 a.m. doing the morning steam. The first look out of Vegas. What are the syndicates? What are the big bettors doing overnight? You can catch that at 9 a.m. And then I'll be back at 6 p.m. We'll have a full day of action for you guys tomorrow, a live stream. We'll have First Strike out there again tomorrow as well. New format. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Cashed our parlay last week. And you can go check out the VB MMA Picks show, and you can get the quick breakdown on those 3 fights. Big main event, the co-main event, and an extra, a bonus one out there. Appreciate everybody watching. Have yourselves a glorious night. I saw Jay Peasy in the chat. In honor of Jay Peasy, let's toss it out there. Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. We don't stop. Rain, sleet, or snow. Pre-gaming is good to go.
Snow, Curtis blow, flow, fuck all you haters. Fuck making bitch using best simulators. Fuck cashing in, all we wanna do is win. Put the juice in the gin, now it's time to begin. Fuck the books, they can take it on the chin. Surrendering dividends, don't fuck with mine. Damn, the show starts with capping and ends with pimp slapping and stacking cash and boatloads. They won't know what happens with pre-gaming and others. They seem lame, like Abel meeting Cain. A bullet to the brain. We don't give a fuck, like Kiki said. We ain't playing, we ain't game, but we ain't playing.
I'm back and I'm joined with my guy